thank you for the gifts, the kind words, your own inspirational leadership. The fact we don't have just one person make all this difference is an important one to walk away with. If there are new organisers here, it's us all in this together. You pay us as organisers to help deliver the issues that you have to live with all the time. I have a long speech, but I'm sure time is passing, so I'm going to try and not pick it up in the hope that I can stick to what Pope said when he was in Ireland, which is every speech he has to make includes thank you, sorry, and please. So in the context of thank you very much for what you just said. Thank you for that very original, unusual gift. Thank you for the icon, Father, which I will much treasure. Thank you for the living wage plaque, which we'll put on the front of the house. If we don't get a blue plaque on it, we'll put it on. That's what we've learned, really. There are so many people here to thank. There's the trustees, the council, those who've risen to these occasions. We've created the opportunity for that to happen, but I can see you all here and others who've sent messages that without you we would not be here, and frankly civil society would not be as strong in London and in other cities. Of course, there are now 11 chapters and others growing. And thank you to Matthew. It's wonderful to meet your little boy here. If anybody's not sure who's Matthew's little boy, it's the little boy that looks like him. And to Frances, his lovely wife, for frankly being able to take up and pick up the baton, and for being, as you say, such a good friend, an ally and conspirator over the last 15 years. I am blessed by having the opportunity to pass the baton to you, Matt, and it will be well used and probably better used than in the floundering of my early days. And just to reassure Bishop Adrian, that little cameo thing, which my staff like doing too much, really, about the cathedral did happen, but it was not when I was an organiser. It was in 1966, when I was about to become a social worker. We did occupy Bristol Cathedral in the hope that the church would give its money away, and we said we would stay there until it did. And as you saw, we stayed there till the next morning. And said we'd be back, and that doesn't happen. And of course, it hasn't happened, and it was naive, and we've learnt lots of things by that process. Just to reassure you on that, I learnt a lot in that process, and as we have credited IAF, I want to thank them, and thank those of you, as I say, who are sort of making this happen, not sort of, who have made this all happen. It's been a magnificent journey. On the, I also want to frankly give a gift, which is quite important at this stage, so just excuse me whilst I do. Yeah. I have promised all of the organisers a book called the Impulse Society, and I have not forgotten that, colleagues. I've given it to some people, but this is really for the office, and partly for now. Turn it over. This manages not to break in the next. It is, of course, something which I've tried to teach on a regular basis. The time is passing. The sands of time are passing. And I suggest we put this in the boardroom and nobody knocks it over. It's 90 minutes. So I thought it would be helpful for what I'm going to say. No, I mean, the principle being really you shouldn't have a meeting longer than 90 minutes. So if when you get in there and you turn it over, that should see the meeting through. Don't focus on that, but focus on time. Because we know time is precious and that we all will die. And that is a very important lesson I've been privileged to teach mostly for the last few years, the last session on national training, and I've not milked that reality, but basically just spelt out the reality of our mortality, which is why we shouldn't waste time messing around and going around in circles. As Saeed has taught me so much about the number 11 bus that goes round and round in Birmingham, around the circuit, and is never the number 46 bus, I think, which is the one that goes straight to the centre. So many of us spend my time, and I did when I was much younger, going round and round and round, looking for the meaning of life, and then frankly was blessed to be in a position to find a smidgen of it, some of it, the reality of which you've heard today, which is all about people. It's all about people in institutions. It's all about teachers and priests and rabbis and others who give their life to civil society and institutions which are so important for us to learn how to work together and be together in faith and for justice and for a strong common good as well. Just in case I skip it, which would be terrible, I did promise to announce the 7 deadly sins for the 21st century. And I'm looking at several people here, lots of people here. I have to say, only 2 organisers had the temerity to reply to that, and thank you to the 2 organisers who did. None of the organisers thought this was serious, they thought it was a funny joke. But frankly, at least 100 leaders did reply to that with great consideration and agitation. And I do accept that humility is not really a sin. Just in case you think I missed the point, every leader that replies said, how dare you put humility in the sin? It is a blessing. And frankly, of course it is. I was slightly teasing about it. And Angus Ritchie, who's just had another baby tonight, reminded me I meant timidity. It's timidity that's a problem. We have to be more courageous and brave, but humble with our roots. As Madeline has mentioned, the derivation of humility is near the ground. Stay near the ground. We're an alliance of people who have roots, not shallow roots, deep roots in our community. That's what's so magic about us. Our membership has deep roots and always has, and is there before the other lot arrived in the market selling their various ways. So frankly, the conclusion of everybody who put their mind to what are the 7 deadly sins was basically, we've got to live with them. They are what they are. But I also learned from our neighbour last night, who was a classicist, that there was another 7 deadly sins, which were before the Christian 7 deadly sins, which focused on the individual and the individual's own aspirations and behaviour. The ones which were the classicists and the Athenians and the Democrats were actually for us much more significant. I will write another piece, not focused on the individual challenges for us as sinners, as we all are, but for our corporations and our institutions, who of course have a different role, to be stronger, to be more vital than ever. And Aristotle's, if you read what it said, Aristotle came up with very good 7 virtues, one of which was to handle anger properly. He meant cold anger, of course, which is what we teach. Meant, as we do teach, angry hostility is a mistake. It's unhelpful. It doesn't lead to relationships as such. It just leads to hostility, and boy, do we see that now. We haven't seen the papers every day there is something happening which is the opposite to the cold anger, which I hope has got us to these great victories and great actions that we've done. The story of Wonga, of course, is quite a long one. It was 2009, 2010, 2013, 2015, and even 2015 we got to 2018 and Wonga collapses. So it is a privilege to be able to announce at this stage and finally to say, so there's sorry in there somewhere. The highlights, of course, are many. The primary highlight has had the privilege to do this for the last 30 years with you all, to learn how to behave. I want to thank my wife Jean, who's here. Without her, I would not be here. Charlie, who are here, and my daughter who's not made it from Northern Ireland, and my grandchildren who are here. So we have a legacy. It's up to you 3 at the front and others to pick up this baton for us all. But thank you for coming, and thank you for what you've done. And finally, of course, please don't give up. Please remember that we are here not as voyeurs, but as players on this stage of life. Please read more. Advice I gave to the organisers, I see it's now on the lovely quilt I've got. Read more, make ourselves more interesting, study what's going on, be more audacious in your actions, but primarily the lessons we have, I think, from all these stories and your own experiences, never give up. If we give up, we've given up, and frankly, civil society needs us almost more than it knows, certainly more than it knows. We know it's no easier now to get people to work together than it was then. If anything, it's more difficult, which is why we cannot give up. This is a holy and a religious pursuit that we have, in spiritual terms, to persuade people to work together, that it is in their interest to work with each other, not to follow the dominant culture which says it's not in their interest. So that's my final message, and thanks, and sorry if we've messed up along the way, and also,
we will again.
Never go. Thank you so much for all you've done. Look forward to working with you.